recent term, the quarantine 15. So kind of synonymous with the freshman 15 with people going to college. It's the quarantine 15, so people are gaining weight. I just want to kind of address this a little bit and how a lot of you might have you noticed some changes in your thought patterns, in your eating patterns, in your stress patterns, things like that. And so, you know, we're in a situation right now. I just kind of want to put some stuff into perspective for you guys. We're in a situation where we have like a worldwide crisis, right? And so our survival brain is made to keep us alive, okay? And so with this happening, with people being quarantined, with the news kind of giving us some really gloomy and frightful things, because let's be honest, that's what people click on. That's what people want to know about is, how many people are dying or how many new cases they are, or, all those scary stories that are out there right now. What that is also doing is creating an upheaval of our brains to tap into more of our survival brains or our midbrain. It's parts of our brain that are geared towards specifically emotional and fear responses to eating specific things. So you might notice that you are, hi Jen, thanks for watching. You might notice that you are craving more carbohydrates right now. That your body's actually trying to carbo load right now because you may actually be going into survival. I think some of us have survival mechanisms, old survival mechanisms that are coming out in humanity right now. So I'm not really sure what the toilet paper hoarding survival mechanism is there. That's hilarious. Oh, you're having trouble hearing me? Hold on one second. Let me take my earphone. Is it better? Is that any better? If I'm taking that out? My connection. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. My internet connection is not the best. So I'm going to tap into my hotspot here too. Is that any better? Can you guys hear me any better there? Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm going to pull this closer to me here. Okay, so, okay, I'll try and speak as loud as I can. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Some of my internet connection is going in and out too, so, but yeah, so survival mechanisms. Think about long ago, cavemen, right? Or, even animal instincts of hibernation, right? We typically have an instinct to eat more during the winter and hibernate. We are more in less of hibernation mode versus a survival mode right now. So right now there's almost like an underlying threat of us staying in the house, and you're seeing it out in society. If you go grocery shopping, people, it's like they're fearing going near other people. There's so much fear. There's so many emotional responses going on in the world right now. There's fear from the news. There's fear just to go out and be around other people that they're going to catch the virus. There's fear, which is, it's valid. It's valid, by the way. I just want you to know how this pertains to your health, okay, and what you might be noticing that's normal, and just to give you some clarity and validation on what a lot of people are experiencing right now. So it's our survival mechanism to eat more too, right? So we might be feeling more fear. We might be having more spikes in cortisol. You might even notice that you have an increase in insomnia right now, right? So you're getting more anxiety. Your cortisol levels are going up. I know this has actually happened to me a little bit. I had to modulate. People are in situations this is a traumatic situation. There are a lot of people dealing with shock as they lose their businesses, as they take on new roles in their family. Um, Healthcare workers who are in a ton of fear and in shock as well when they're going to work, right? So this is like across the board. Like a lot of us are in this survival mode. A lot of our goals, people had goals for the year. Um, their eyes aren't necessarily on the goals. Hopefully they're still on the goals, but it's usually like this retraction, right? It's more like the survival mechanism. So this is, you may experience, if you are somebody who's experiencing these symptoms right now, I just want you to know that this is a normal response to a traumatic thing, okay? Some people actually may, especially if you had previous trauma, you may have a re-traumatization right now. You may be having a increase in depression and anxiety. You may have increases of nightmares. You may have increases of like addictions coming up. This is partially because our survival brain is being activated, and a lot of trauma survivors have a lot more stored in their hippocampus. Okay, so you may be actually meeting some of your trauma for the first time right now because you're being forced to sit with it. I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of people right now. I'm going to, not to be morbid, I really think the suicide rate is going to go up too because we're seeing so many people having these responses. The rates of abuse are going up. And this is a very surreal but very real conversation. Um, I want you guys to understand that all of us right now is experiencing a traumatic response. We're all responding in different ways. Some of us respond with wanting to protect our families more. Some of us respond by going to the grocery store and trying to have make sure we're feeding our families and things like that. These aren't things to be ashamed of. Okay, there's just people having normal response to traumatic situation. This is a worldwide pandemic. Most of us, except for the few people we see in the news, are haven't experienced this. There's a few people out there that went through the Spanish flu, right? So if you are somebody who has wanted to snack more or wanted to eat more, who has been more depressed, if you notice yourself actually spacing out a little bit, okay, or you're feeling symptoms of numbness, if you start feeling numb, these are all symptoms typically of shock. They're symptoms of shock. They're symptoms of trauma. They're symptoms. This is, everybody's lives just changed on a dime. You know. So if you might be noticing symptoms of despair, symptoms of not wanting to talk to anybody, symptoms of fear of what the future holds. Those are all normal, you know. Those are all normal trauma responses, especially, an uncommon one that's not talked about a lot is dissociation. So, hold on one second. I hope you guys can still hear me okay. Dissociation, if you are experiencing this, is when your body, especially if you're at home or you're in a specific situation where your environment is poor, and you might feel trapped. This is something that is normal. So your body, I think a lot of people are going to be experiencing this right now. Dissociation is a protection mechanism. So it's a detachment of self. Okay. And this may be for many of us, we space out. This common dissociation is just like you're watching a movie and then you start drifting off and thinking about something else and you forget where you're at or whatever. That happens to most of us. Trauma dissociation is when you actually purposefully, your body shuts down being in the present and you start drifting off and thinking about other things, or you try to
You may feel like you're fuzzy, foggy brain, difficulty thinking. You may have some of those numb feelings. Those are symptoms of dissociation, especially if you've had past trauma. Now, if you are somebody who's having past trauma come up right now, um, that's probably also very normal. So we're slowing down, the pace of life is slowing down. We're getting met with new challenges. And so if you've had any stored trauma, um, that might be coming up for you. And so if that is, um, then um, I definitely I definitely feel you on that because I've had a few things come up myself. Um, but just know that those are all normal responses right now. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are crazy, because most of us probably feel like we're going crazy right now. We're stuck inside. We feel we're having feelings of trapped. Maybe you feel hopeless or helpless, um, or you're feeling that despair. And so you can't get out and do your normal distractions or coping mechanisms, you know. So um, I just want to take a moment to let you know and validate you that if you are experiencing that, that is, it's okay and it's normal, and it's okay to feel afraid in this situation. It's okay if you felt like you needed to stack more this week, um, and feel like your survival mechanisms are kicking in. Okay. So if you are experiencing any of that, I want you to know that it's completely okay, and you can get through it, and it's totally normal to have any setbacks right now. Okay. The most important thing going forward is that you be easy on yourself, give yourself some compassion, let yourself know that it's okay to have a time of rest. It's okay for things to change. It doesn't mean that you're losing, um, a lot of people have scarcity, especially around money, food. We're really being challenged with our basics of life right now. Food going to the grocery store is a little fearful for a lot of people right now. The groceries, we're not able to get specific groceries. We're not able to get our some of our basic needs, right? So, and socializing is definitely like being around other people. If you are, home on quarantine by yourself, make sure that you don't give yourself hell for being on social media so much. Like, if that's what you need right now, um, then that's what you need. So I just want to, um, help you guys understand that I think a lot of people feel alone right now. I think a lot of people are having backslides. I think a lot of people are having difficulty with their weight and mental health right now. Um, and I know that over the past couple weeks, going from being at my practice full time, to homeschooling my first grader, and my being home with my 3-year old, and trying to work and then help with the house and then being stuck in the house and everything, like your whole routine just gets like, you know, thrown all over the place, and you're more anxious and you're more irritable and you're more, so um if this, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. If it is, give me a thumbs up. Let me know how it's helpful for you. I just want you guys to know that, whatever you're feeling right now, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. It's valid. And if you had any backslides at all throughout this, it's okay. And some of those symptoms are normal symptoms to a traumatic experience. If you are somebody who has never experienced trauma before, you're experiencing it now. And this is a worldwide, this is traumatic to see a lot of people. It's traumatic to see some of the news. It's traumatic if you lose loved ones of your own. This is a very traumatic time. So I want to just offer all of you so much compassion, um, and hopefully you're giving yourself a lot of self-compassion. And really, the way to combat getting out of that survival is to really try and get more into your frontal lobe. Your frontal lobe is very much, um, it's centered around creativity, more thinking, um, movement. So if you're not moving, make sure you're doing things to move at home. Okay. So you want to be doing, sometimes I do laps and chase my dog around the yard playing tag. I play dog tag for exercise. How's that? Okay. If you like whatever, it doesn't have to be anything formal. You can play dog tag too. Or, I chase my kids around, or we did like a really ridiculous exercise video this morning together for her gym class. We did gym class together. And just silly stuff like just make sure you're moving because it will help you. It will help with your neurochemistry during this time. It will get you out of your survival brain too. Um, Doing things that really activate that prefrontal cortex more. So creating, this is a beautiful time to create. If you are somebody with untouched arts, one of the things I've been doing is getting back on my keyboard. So I have a keyboard and piano. Um, Going back and playing music. Okay, so creating, using different parts of your brain, get out of that survival brain, create, paint. Right now, I'm like Pinteresting with how many things I can create, like Easter crafts for my kids or whatever. The more that I can keep them in that space too, the better. Laugh. My husband and I think for the past couple days, like every day, we're doing something like really silly. We're sending each other something that's hilarious, um, just to make sure that we're laughing and joking around, taking things not as seriously. Do crossword puzzles. Do crossword puzzles. Challenge yourself. Read books. Learn something. Okay. Um, there are some days where I went into survival mode a little too hard and watched pretty much every end of the world movie there was. I know a lot of you are doing this too. I think I watched like Outbreak and what is it? Contagion like in one day. And then the next day I watched a different one. So that I probably wouldn't recommend that because that definitely threw me back into the fear loop. So try and find things like, yes, it's good to have humor. Yes, it's good to be informed. But also, make sure that you're using this time to create and be with your family and keep your eye on your goals. I know a lot of us aren't certain, but that will keep you out of having those cortisol spikes that will like pick up and drop your blood sugar and have you crave more snacks. That will keep you out of that emotional eating aspect. If you're using more of your prefrontal cortex and your decision making and things like that. Do things, put yourself in situations that you're forced to use that part of your brain. Another thing you can do is actually use your non-dominant hand. That can be really helpful as well, neurologically. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'm thinking of you guys. I'm with all of you. I understand how challenging this has been. If you want more information on your health and specifically to what's going on right now in the world, I am holding webinars twice a week as like health education classes. Um, and that's what we're going to be covering. I'm going to be going in depth on specific types of protocols and specifically patients who have pre-existing conditions and chronic disease. That's a really important thing to address, and just giving you as much information and statistics and factual knowledge that I've been updated with as well. I will put that link in the bottom for you guys to sign in. It's on a couple of other my posts too, but that's tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for that extra information in class. It's free. Just a way for us to connect and you to get yourself more knowledge on how to keep yourself healthy during this time. Okay? All right, guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon.